Hey guys, if you are in business and you are spending a single dollar or more on marketing for your business, then you need to be able to accurately measure the ROI or the return on investment for that marketing spend. But the reality is that most business owners have no idea how to actually do that. So in this video, I'm going to break that down. I'm going to show you a really simple method so that you can measure every single marketing activity that you're doing and figure out what's working best and cut away what isn't working. Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to share something with you that I think is pretty special and pretty pivotal. It's too early. Can't even talk yet. It is pivotal certainly in my business, and it should be in yours. If you are spending any money on marketing whatsoever, then you should have a spreadsheet like this. I've basically split this up into two sections: the marketing funnel and the sales funnel. And you may be thinking, oh, what's the sales funnel? Well, the sales funnel is kind of more or less the same as what the marketing funnel is, but it basically deals with the numbers after the prospect actually contacts you, after the conversion, which is here. For now, let's see what we have here. So we're measuring something on Facebook, and let's say we're spending $500, and that could be a monthly budget or a lifetime budget for a campaign or a short-term promotion or whatever it might be. And then we have the CPC, and the CPC stands for the cost per click. So every time somebody clicks on your ad, then it's going to cost us $5. And so that means that we get 100 clicks, and that's a simple formula. So $500 divided by 5 equals 100 clicks through to our website or landing page or whatever. And then we have the CVR, which is the conversion rate, meaning of all the 100 people that click through to the website, 10% of those people, or 1 in 10 people, will actually convert. Now, 10% is a pretty healthy conversion rate. Like it's not uncommon to see conversion rates higher than that, 15, 20%. A conversion rate that's sort of 2 or 3% would be fairly low. So that probably says that there's something maybe wrong with what you're offering, or something that people don't like when they arrive on that page. So 10% is a good kind of middle ground. If we're targeting the right people and they're warmed up with whatever we show them in the ad, they click through and they're expecting to get something, and then they actually do see it on that page, then 1 in 10 people will probably be ready to buy. So 10%, and that means we have 10 conversions. And the majority of times when I'm talking about conversions, I'm referring to someone calling or sending an email or filling out a contact form or a quote request or something like that. They are physically contacting us in one way or another. So of this $500, we get 10 conversions or 10 inquiries. Cool. So that's the marketing funnel done. Now let's talk about the sales funnel. So of these 10 people that contact us, let's say we have a close rate of 30%. So if we have 10 phone calls, then 30% of those people will actually buy something. We'll be able to close them and sell them whatever we're selling. So that therefore means we get roughly 3 sales, which is simply 30% times 10. So we get 3 sales. And let's say that we have a CLV, which stands for customer lifetime value, of $500. Now, I've based this on, let's say some service like a physio, meaning, to go to the physio might cost $80 or $90 or something like that. But typically you're going to go back probably 5 or 6 times to that physio. So the lifetime value in this scenario is about $500. So therefore, the value that is delivered to the business is $1,500, $500 times 3. Pretty simple maths there. So therefore, that's the sales funnel done. We can see what actually came into the business. Therefore, we have a profit, which is simply the value minus the original budget of $1,000, or an ROI of 2 to 1, meaning we spent $500, we got $1,000 profit. That's a 2 to 1 ROI. So for every dollar we put in, we get $2 out in profit. So as you can see, this is there's no crazy science going on here. It's simple mathematics, but this is the way that you must judge all of your marketing to figure out if it's successful or not. Now, the good thing about this is I've started this off with Facebook, but you might do the same thing for Google, and you might do the same thing for, Twitter or Pinterest or ads on TV or radio ads or, whatever. You can basically measure pretty much anything using this method. Well, let's say we're going, okay, cool, Google. I spent $800 on Google. The clicks were, let's say they were $7. We had a conversion rate of 15%, and the close rate was all the same. The lifetime value is the same. So we had a value of $2,500. That's a profit of $1,700, and probably most importantly is the ROI calculation, which is 2.2. So which one of these columns is the most important? Well, obviously it's exciting to go, oh, well, $1,000, $1,700, but the budgets were different here. It's probably unlikely that you'll have the exact same budget for everything all the time. I would argue that in this, for this, the ROI column is probably the most expensive, because in this example, we got a 2-to-1 return from Google. And in this example, we got a 2.2-to-1 return. So we're actually getting more money for every dollar we spend on Google. We're getting more back compared to Facebook. And to prove that, let's just pretend that the budget was exactly the same. The main difference being everything is the same here except for the conversion rate, meaning that we have more people that click through, which is actually only results in one extra conversion, but the numbers don't lie. And we can see that the value that we get is a little bit different. This is an interesting kind of a thing, because you might see, geez, I get 2-to-1, I get 3-to-1. Oh, geez, this one over here, I get 5-to-1. In a campaign that I'm running for one client, they're having a return on investment of 9.5-to-1. So for every dollar they spend, they get $9.50 back. So now you can start to measure things side by side, and it doesn't matter if the budget's different. You can also use this spreadsheet to simulate things. Let's just pretend that this is what our actual campaign is, and we want to figure out, okay, what if we double the budget? Then we should, okay, the ratio and everything should still say basically the same, but we can start to see what the difference in our profit could be. Okay, cool, $2,000 sounds good. All right, I'm gonna have to spend more. What if I spend $5,000? Okay, cool. So we can start to use this to almost predict our business growth. Obviously, it's presuming that all these other factors stay the same, which, all things being equal, they should stay the same. But we can use this same tool to predict, okay, what if I did $500 a month for a couple of months, and then I save up my profits for a few months, and then I increase the budget to, I don't know, $3,000. Well, cool. Now we're going to have $6,000 profit. And if that maintains the same, then I could go again and I could make it $10,000 per month. And now I'm getting $20,000 profit from that. So you can start to use these calculations to make predictions about what ought to happen based on the data that you already have. In addition to this, it's important to also consider, in each of these examples, these stayed the same. And this is probably the number which is worth considering, because in our example, we've just assumed that the close rate is the same every time, but it may not be. You may have, when you do it on Google, same budget, everything is the same. But let's say for some reason, the close rate on Google is 10%, or maybe it's 40%. Not sure why. Let's say it's 15%, it's half. It's not really quite there. This is an entirely possible scenario. But now we can see, okay, well, these are the numbers we had. The close rate was this much. So actually, Google on the surface of it looked great, but we're actually getting a worse ROI. And in fact, this is actually a really bad result, because you kind of really at least want 1-to-1, I think. But you might find some interesting things like, let's say, use a realistic example. Let's say we were spending $2,000 a month on Google. The cost per click was $4. The conversion rate was 12%. So, okay, cool. You might go, Sweet, I'm spending heaps more on Google and Facebook. The cost per click is a little bit cheaper. The conversion rate is a bit better. So cool, we're doing way better. 60 to 10 conversions. It's not really a fair comparison, but it's interesting to see. But the close rate is only 15%. So then we have 9 sales. The customer lifetime value in this example is the same. Cool. Oh, wow, $4,500. But the ROI is not as good as Facebook. So a lot of people will get fixated on this number, the conversions. They will get fixated on this number, which is the amount of money that it brings into the business. And they'll get fixated on this number, which obviously is the money that you take home after you take out all your business expenses. But really, at the end of the day, when you're evaluating your marketing, this is the number that kind of really matters. Now, it's not to say that you should kill off all of your marketing except for the highest performing. It just means that maybe you actually, what you really want to do is spend $2,000 here and $500 there. So you still have this in place, because as I said in previous videos, what happens if all of a sudden something changes with Facebook and the ads suddenly get super expensive and it wrecks this ROI? Let's say all of a sudden something changes with Facebook, cost per click is now $10. Well, now this Google campaign is actually looking pretty nice. So I'm kind of glad we didn't kill that off. All things being equal, we might just go, you know what, let's just reallocate our funds according to what gets us the most amount of money at any point in time. That's just sensible business. The key thing, again, is to do any of this, you must have this conversion tracking, and that means having your Google Analytics set up and being able to accurately measure what is actually driving conversions, where those conversions came from, Google or Facebook. Without that, none of this works. So having this in place with your measurement with Google Analytics is the key to making all this work. Once you've gone to the effort of having that set up, then all this just falls into place automatically.